All right. Hey, everybody. This is Mr. At Home with Quita. At least that's what I was referred to as this past weekend. But I do have a name. My name is AJ. And this is the first time I'm doing this. You know, this is very new to me. I know you hear my wife talking and doing her videos. I've been doing that for the last couple of years. And with her soothing voice, I don't know if I'm as soothing as she is. But she roped me in to doing some kind of haul as well as a plan with me and whatever this turns out to be. So we'll see if anybody even watches this. But we want to really focus this on Filofax. So my wife is an ambassador with Filofax, and they've sent us a few products that I actually enjoy or look to really utilize and use myself. And I also have my personal planner is a Filofax. That was purchased, so it wasn't sent directly from Filofax, but I'll show how I have it set up now, which it needs a lot of work, but I can kind of go through concepts of what I plan to, what I envision in regards to my planner and some thoughts that I have and what I would like to include. You know, I'm not as creative as my wife. It takes me some time to think about what I want to do, and but I'm coming there. I'm coming around. You know, I got to really enjoy this past weekend as well over in Chicago. I got to meet some awesome planners there and really see firsthand what this is all about. So I'm excited, and I'm going to show you what we have here. All right, first off, going into what we received from Filofax. So here is A5 inserts, and I'll open these up in a moment, let you see what that is. But it's 1 day on a page business diary with a few different types of inserts included with that. And then here's a notebook received from Filofax. Now, my wife actually picked out this marble cover, which kind of goes with her backdrop here. She likes the marble. And I'm going to go into this notebook as well in a moment. I really enjoy how this notebook is laid out, and I want her to kind of get me one as well. I saw online they have it in black, and I think that's what I'm going to try to order and find a way to utilize it in my life. These inserts come with the notebook. And I'm going to show you how that looks and how that works as well. So they sent us 2 sets of inserts that will go with this refillable notebook. And then they also sent us the clipbook, which I thought was really cool. It seems like it's a cool concept because of the way the rings kind of come outside of the cover and the binder. It compresses a little bit more, so it's not as thick. It doesn't feel as thick as maybe a regular planner because of the design. But you can open it up, fold it over, and so I've actually started using it a little bit, and I like this. So I'm not using it with the planner inserts, using it more so as a notebook. And I only have maybe 1 page filled out of some things I was planning out, but I thought it was a really cool design, and it zippers up. So I'm going to find a way to really put this to use and utilize this as well. And then I'm going to show you real quick. This is my my Filofax planner, and you know what? I forget what this one is called. The Calipso. That's what it is. The Filofax Calipso, which you know, one of the concerns that I always have when I look at my wife's planners and even inserts and things that she's doing, you know, within the planner community, it is dominated by women, by females, and it has a lot of the planners are very girly with different decorative designs that, you know, I wouldn't walk around with as a man, you know. But this, when I saw this Filofax Calipso, I recognized that it could be a manly planner. One thing that did throw me off, my wife said she likes it. This, I guess you would call it like a snake skin or alligator skin type of print. I thought that had a little girly flair to it, but maybe not. She said not really. But otherwise, you know, I do really enjoy the feel of it. I mean, the leather is a real genuine leather. It doesn't feel plasticky at all. I mean, it's a real genuine soft leather feel. I really enjoy this planner. And again, I'm going to show you how I set it up. Don't copy me. You know, if you have ideas of ways I can set it up, you know, let me know. You know, I'm still trying to figure it out. So let me do this. I'm still trying to formulate my plan for how I'm going to go through this, but let me start one by one. So here we go. I was talking about this this notebook. Now the really cool thing about this notebook is that it's refillable. So it has ring binds on it, but the punch is very similar to you know, a ring bound punch, like a Happy Planner type punch or arc or tool, when you are able to pull these off very easily and put them right back on. And so that allows you to really reorganize this planner. If you need to move, you have some notes in the front, you want to move it to the back, you're able to do that very easily, you know, without having to just tear a page out and not able to put it back in. And so the same thing with these inserts here. And so this right here is a dot refill. Let's open this up and see how this works when you're putting inserts into your refillable Filofax notebook. So again, these are dot inserts already in here as well. But you know, you can take a few pages if you need to refill it, and then just snap them right back in very easily. Now I think that's cool. You know, you don't have many spiral bound notebooks that you can reuse. You know, you get to the end of the book and that's it, you gotta throw it away, even though it's a real nice cover, you know, it's an expensive notebook, but you can't use it outside of that one time. But then also here you can reorganize it, like I mentioned. You know, if you want to, you know, organize a notebook in a way, you can even put dashboards in here to section off this notebook. You can make it, you know, have dividers in here. And so it's a really cool concept. So again, this right now, it came, I think the way my wife ordered it was with the dot refill paper already included. But then you also have other refillable paper that you can purchase. So this right here is the pastel dotted. Again, not something that I would use personally. You know, I'm not into pastel colors. I don't think it's very manly. But again, it does give you the option to add these colorful dot paper, into your notebook. So again, you know, I can't take my wife's. Plus, again, the marble is you know, not very manly. I don't think, you know, maybe for some, but they did have a nice black one. So we'll see. I don't know if Filofax wants to send us another notebook. You know, I will definitely. I think my audio went out just a little bit, so we'll see how that goes. Let's see, I adjusted the microphone there. But you know, if they want to send us another notebook, you know, I'll go and I'll definitely you know, review it, show how I'm going to put it to use. But I would like it in black, which I saw they had on the website. So again, this is the Filofax refillable notebook. Again, very good feel. This is another cool feature to it too, in that you can turn it over flat and you can write on it very easily, folding it over. You know, not all notebooks, well, spiral bound notebooks allow you to do that. This is kind of what that is. It's a spiral bound notebook, but it has a real nice cover on it, durable cover. So that is this product. And then kind of went into this already. This is the Clipbook. And again, the Clipbook, you have the rings, interesting design. You don't really see this around. You know, the rings protrude outside of the cover. And again, it gives you the ability to have it fold a little flatter, you know, maybe not be as profound in terms of the size, especially around the spine. And this can also fold flat and still be able to write on it, utilize it. So it's a really cool design. And then of course you have the zipper here to close it up. I just thought it was a cool look. So I'm going to use it as a notebook, you know, as I'm jotting down ideas. Again, I started jotting down a couple of ideas here that I just wanted to work on throughout this year, and so I'm going to find ways to utilize this as well. Again, I really enjoy the design. Now, it did come with some inserts, that were already included. So of course it had the paper, lined paper, as well as the graph paper, and I believe there may be there's some blank pages in here as well, some plain blank pages. And it came with a year at a glance, which is really cool. It actually came with a couple of 1 year at a glance, and then some months, which are undated. So if you want to use this as a planner, and it has where it's cool, where it folds out. You know, I like year at a glances because you're able to really plan out what you're looking at for the whole year, and put it in one easy to view and read location. And these are undated. If you notice here, it's undated, so you're just able to put in the year that you're working with, and then, you know, every month goes down to 31 days, so it doesn't matter what month you're working in. And really cool there. And also these months are undated, where you're able to just circle the month that you're in and then write in the dates. So functional, and along with looks like weekly planner as well. And so if you want to use the weekly planner, which spreads out across 2 pages, again, all undated, and you can utilize it that way. So this came with the clipboard. So these inserts were already included. Looks like you also have to-do list here as well. So again, I'm going to use it more so as a notebook. Refill it with some notebook paper. Refill it with some Little Miss Fancy Plan blank notebook paper. So that could be the plan there. So now, again, this is also, but of course this is also A5. So this is A5 size, and it could use the refillable paper that Filofax sent us also. So I'll go into some of the inserts that are in this, again, A5 size, 1 day on a page business diary. Now, when you look at it, some of the pages you get, personal information, may not use that as much. Religious festivals, I may not use that as much. National information, probably not. Now expenses, I can see using the expense page, itemized detailed expenses. Meeting planner, I actually did put this in my planner, and I'm going to see how I can utilize it for my actual job. I am a sales rep for a software company, and I do have several meetings throughout the week, and I can see myself using something like this to kind of organize some of the meetings. So seeing how I can implement that. Not really sure. I don't do a lot of delegation when it comes to projects. Not really sure about this page here, delegation review, how I would use that. But then you have the standard to do with a checkbox. And then you get into the dailies. And here you have the dailies, which I really like the format. You know, it's very clean for me. It's clean looking. Doesn't have a lot of moving parts, and it gives you really information that you need. Appointment, to-do notes, calls, personal reminders. One thing I noted, so I'm going to show you how I actually put these in my planner. I used it a little bit, switching back and forth, trying to figure out what daily planner inserts I prefer to use. This right here is very functional. One thing that threw me off are the time. So it's in a 24-hour calendar, and my mind doesn't work that well in converting. You know, I'd rather it go, 12 p.m. noon and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like we normally tell time in this part of the world. Because I find myself having to do a conversion in my head to see, okay, what time is it really that I'm putting this appointment down for? That's one thought that I have. Another thing for me is that I like undated more so than dated. You know, there may be a day or two where you might not actually fill out your full day of activities. And that happens for me. You know, I may skip a day or a couple of days, and then it's just a wasted page in my mind of what is, just taking up space. And it's like, it throws me off. You know, when you look at the plan and you have just a blank page, like, you know, boy, I was very, it was an uneventful day and I was non-productive. And it's just staring at you. You know, I'd rather just if I had to go from Monday to Wednesday, there's just no Tuesday page in there. At least that's me. But again, this is very functional when it gets to the weekends, and also because the weekends, you may or may not plan out appointments or schedules for the weekends. You may use, you know, you can use one page to really plan out what your weekend may look like. So again, it may be a wasted page in my book if I have it dated like that. And that's just my thoughts. But again, you know, very functional still. And if you're looking for a daily planner. So there we go. Those are the inserts. And this is for the full year that they have in here, all the way to November, December, and that's the bulk of the inserts there. So enjoyed that. Thank you, Filofax, for sending that over. Again, some of it is being implemented and used in my planner. So now this is what I have. Again, it's the Filofax Calypso. I mentioned how I enjoy the texture of it, the feel, and I didn't want something that was, you know, you don't want something that's too small, but you also want something that's too big. You know, I know my wife sometimes, her planners can get extremely thick and she carries it around, and I wanted something I can easily slide in and out of my bag, my laptop bag, that doesn't take up a whole lot of space. And this works out well. There's a good feel to it. Now I'm going to take you through my planner. Now again, it still has a lot to be desired. You know, I still need to figure out what my what the end product is going to look like. You know, what my goals are, or at least what my intentions are, my plans are with this Filofax planner, and how I plan to utilize it to get my life organized. And you know, my life needs a lot of organization. One thing at the front, you do see it has a spot for business cards or credit cards, and you know, a place to put in loose paper. I haven't utilized that. I probably wouldn't put any credit cards in here because I keep those in my wallet, you know. So, you know, maybe if I get some business cards, you know, from prospects or clients, I could, I guess, put it in there. But I may not utilize this part of the planner as much. But it does have the pen loop, which I do utilize with this pen. Now I can't remember. I have to ask my wife the name of this pen, but I love it. You know, it's a .05, which I like the smaller or the finer tips. You know, a lot of pens are this is a .5. A lot of pens are .7, and which is nice, but you know, I like it a little bit finer, so I use the .5. And they have, I don't see it here. My wife has it in a drawer somewhere, but there was another pen. I think it comes from like Japan or China or somewhere. Yeah, it says Japan here, if you can see that. But really cool pen. And so, you know, she only gives me one at a time, which I don't appreciate. You know, she really hoards her pens. She doesn't like me going to a stash, but this is one that I like and I've been using. So first off, this came with, if I can recall correctly, this year at a glance came with this Filofax planner. Did it? I'm trying to remember if it did. No, maybe it didn't. This year at a glance came, to be honest with you, I can't remember where I received this year at a glance. It may have come in the clipboard. It came from another, it didn't come from this planner, because this planner was actually, the way we got this, it was from another planner lady who had a mass sell-off from, she had like a whole list of different planners and Filofax planners. A lot of them were used, but she had a few that were actually brand new. And so I was able to get it at like $40, where these planners sell for like $120. And so we bought two of them. My wife has another one. In fact, didn't take it out of the plastic yet. So we actually, just because my wife just buys planners, I don't even know if she's going to use it, but bought another one just because they were so cheap. But it was an older planner. So I think the inserts in here were like from 2015 or 2016. So it definitely didn't come from this planner. So I can't recall where it came from, but this is a real nice year at a glance. So I'm gonna have to start utilizing this year at a glance. It is dated. It's dated for 2020. So I need to really put it to use. But you're able to really mark off what's going on in your year and then move it over to that month if you need to get more detailed with your planning. So at a glance though, you will see that I picked up from Little Miss Fancy Plans the dashboards. Now these are the side dashboards for the A5, which I believe we only have, or she only has the side dashboards. So I have to convince her to go ahead and make top dashboards too, because I think I will use top dashboards to help further categorize or organize this planner. Now the thing is that we only have 7. So I know on some of the classic size planners in her shop, she has the 12 dashboards, so you can actually go in and put all 12 months. This only has 7, so I have to figure out how I'm going to utilize it. Now what's interesting, I started in February. I got this planner and started putting together in February, but and I went and printed out the tabs. You know, I kind of used a silhouette myself, so I was able to go ahead and print out my own tabs and cut them and everything. And I started putting February on the first tab because I'm starting in February. It's only 7 tabs anyway, but my wife jumped down my throat and said that you have to be, it doesn't look right. You can't start the first tab with February when, you know, for her, you know, the aesthetics and the look of it is very important. So I put January in the first tab, even though I have absolutely nothing in January because I didn't start doing this in January. So, but I did start in February. It only goes to July, so I have to figure out what I'm going to do. I guess, I mean, I can get another set of 7, but I have to figure out how that's going to look, or I can convince my wife to make a set of 12 dashboards. But, you know, then it comes to sizing the tabs and all that, but we'll figure it out. And that may be something that you want for those who use A5 to have a full 12 set of 12 dashboards for it. So what I did was I was able to get my wife to print out for me the monthly planner. So I did use her inserts for the monthly, and I filled it out actually pretty good. I put in stuff that I was doing the month. Of course, you don't see any stickers, you don't see any washi or anything colorful. It's just you know, what I did for the month. And again, I prefer undated. I like writing in my own dates, and that's what I did here. Now I did tell my wife, again, for me, I want things to look more manly. You know, I don't want it to look too girly. And the script, you know, I thought that, you know, that's not very masculine looking in my mind. You know, she didn't really want to go in and you know, do a lot to update this for me just yet. Maybe I can convince her to do a little more customization for me, but I left it the way it is. But what I did have her do is remove the little dots. So if you notice on mostly all of her inserts, she has a little dot pattern that is in the I don't know if you call it the spine or where the holes are, where you punch. There's little dots, and that, you know, again, looked to be girly to me. You know, I didn't want to have that in my planner, so she did remove that for me. But again, you know, the script writing, I may want to change the font a little bit and make it look something that looks more like me. But this was functional, so this is partly what I have, you know. So again, planning out the month, and then you have notes in the back of here. And so I started using, and again, this is February. I can get to March in a moment, but this was my wife's dailies. Now again, I need to work more so on what I'm putting on here. This one wasn't filled out too well. Let's see, I have some others that I went in a little more detail of what I have planned for the day. And I'm still trying to figure it out. You know, I don't always think to go straight to my planner, you know, so I'm trying to get accustomed to using it more and really seeing how it can help me be focused on my task for the day. But I liked her daily. Again, I removed the dots out of the spine, so that way it gave it a little more, in my mind, manly look. Again, the font, may want to get her to change this font. Now, and again, I like that I can write in the day. So if I do miss a day, you may notice there are a couple of days that may have been missed, then I can go to the next day without having gaps and spaces in my planner. This is functional for me right now. Again, I did use Filofax for a few days as I was kind of testing it out, but I wound up kind of going back to my wife's inserts, and for a couple of reasons. Again, the time here, you know, it kind of threw me off in being able to know exactly what time it was. I had to kind of make the calculation in my mind. But then also with my wife's inserts, you know, she only does it on one side of the page. And at first I thought, you know, is that a waste of space only having it on one side of the page? But as I started using it, I realized that it's nice to have a full page on this side to be able to write notes. You know, when you look at the Filofax, you know, if there's notes that you want to write in, then you need to, you know, really is no place to put notes or things to think about as you come up with throughout the day. And so being able to have it only on one side, and again, mine still looks a little empty. You know, as we go throughout the year, I'm going to really be able to know exactly what I'm doing and think to write more stuff down. But again, being able to have this side of the page to write your notes on, I think is very functional and works well, at least in my mind, for what I would like to do and what I envision for the way that I would use this. Now, one thing I will say, as I was looking through this insert, really this morning when I was getting ready to try to plan out my day for today, and let me get to March. So let's see. So I actually have a little bit more things put in here for March. But you know, the reminder section and the to-do, I wonder if I need that to be separate. So I don't know, I may talk to my wife and say, really, I don't know if I need reminders. Maybe if I have, you know, maybe I could keep the top 3 goals, and maybe just have a larger to-do list and with the check boxes here, because you know her to-do list don't have check boxes and I guess on the personal as well. So that's something, you know, maybe I'll make a suggestion there that may work better for me in being more functional. So again, that's my dailies. So here we are, Monday, March 2nd. And so I just kind of went through April, May, June. And again, it goes until July, and I'll figure out what I'm going to do then and how I'm going to put the tabs and what I will, you know, what the plan would be to keep it going. So again, that's how I have it set up. I like dailies rather than, you know, weeklies. Because I want to be able to plan, at least I like to be able to plan out the day. I don't always do that. You know, I was talking to my wife about getting into some block scheduling where, you know, especially when it comes to my job, because with my job, you know, being in sales, I block out time to prospect. I block out time to follow up on existing opportunities. I block out time to follow up on emails. And then I do some traveling as well. So traveling, you know, scheduling meetings. So I think I do want to go to some kind of block schedule in my planner, and then I can kind of put it in for those time slots of what I'm doing within my work, but then also at home and helping out my wife. You know, I am giving her a little more assistance in her business as well. So I have to be able to block that out. So now going into the rest of my planner, it's not finished and I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do. All right, I'm going to back up a little bit as I was going through, see, I don't know what may have got cut off in the video, but I went and I showed kind of how I'm using this for dailies. And so the front part of my planner has the months. Again, as I get to July, I'll figure out what I'm going to do with my tabs. Maybe I'll be doing it totally different at that time. So we'll see what the tabs look like going into July. So again, this is my daily planner and how I plan to use it. Get a little more functional with it. Put a little more content in here as well. I mentioned that I want to do the block scheduling. I think let me go over that again just in case that got cut off. But you know, with my job being in sales, I need time to prospect, I need time to follow up on opportunities, I need time to meet with customers and prospects, I need time to do some traveling, so having to schedule traveling and putting that in place as well. And so there's certain times during the week that I do certain tasks and activities. I want to get it really translated into this planner, and I know that I can do that with block scheduling, and then transferring that into my dailies. You know, when you think about block scheduling, you're talking about, you know, between this hour time frame or this 2-hour block, these are the activities that I may do on a daily basis, and then translating that into the daily planner. And so I think I want to work on implementing that, really understanding that concept of planning as well. And so when I get into the rest of my planner, it still is a work in progress. Now I still have the Filofax tabs in here, which I'm probably going to remove. Again, I think I may see if I can get my wife to do some top tabs, and I think it will probably be 5 top dashboards, and we don't have them currently on the shop. But we'll see if we can get her to quickly create that, and I can go and cut them myself. You know, I do know how to use the silhouette. That's my part-time job and and a skill that I developed. But so I probably will take these out. But I put in here, and I haven't started using it yet. So again, this is just a idea of what I would like to do in my planner. Now, this is what I mentioned earlier. I need to get her to remove these on this budget and expense workbook. I just don't like that. I'd rather it be plain in the middle. And again, you know, the font, we'll see if she can adjust the font for me. But I do want to have a tab in here on my budget and expenses. You know, I use an app right now. Most of my bills are paid through Prism. I'm not sure if you utilize or know of Prism. It's an app that you can load all your accounts into. Even your bank account, all your credit cards and utility bills. And it gives me reminders when those bills come up, and then I just pay them from within the app. And I'm still going to do that, but I need to do better in being able to visualize exactly in one place, you know, where the money's going, where the money's coming from. And so I'm going to implement that here, a budget and expense workbook, and utilize it more so. So I haven't even put it into use yet. I really enjoyed, or I really, I say enjoy because I haven't used it yet, but when I looked at the concept of how my wife has been using her paycheck and bill tracker, and then being able to set up savings and, you know, these sinking funds and how it all carries over. I mean, it was a real cool concept. And so I need to really learn how to utilize that. You know, she does it with the money that she has coming in from her businesses, and you know, I can utilize it as well as you know, we have different bills that we pay, where I pay most of the household bills. I can pull that into here, and then the expense tracker as well. So really cool insert. I'm glad she has this for the A5. I'm going to put it into use. Remember I told you about that insert that we had in the Filofax, which is the meetings planner. I just put that in here. Like I said, I do have another notebook that I use for work that I kind of, you know, keep all my notes in when I go on site and visit with customers or talk to prospects over the phone. So I'm trying to see if I may utilize this. So I haven't as of yet, and we'll see how that comes into play. But I see it helps you plan out your meetings, the objective of that meeting. So when you go into, especially a sales meeting, you want to know what the objective is. You want to have it clearly defined, so you can feel like, you know, the meeting was a success and be able to gauge that. And so I thought about implementing that. And then actually my other tabs are blank. So what am I going to do with them? I got to figure it out. You know, I have a to-do list paper in here in the back, which I'm going to see if I'm going to use a separate sheet for it to do. I see the good thing about that is that it's a running tab. You know, you can have, it doesn't have to be daily, you know, it can be weekly. You know, these are the to-do items that I have for the week. And then you can take that and translate it over to your daily sheet. And so I may do that. I may take a to-do. This is from Filofax. And they had two separate types, if you notice. They look similar, but they're a little bit different. So I think one of them was in this planner. One of them may have come from the inserts that we received from Filofax. So I may do that. I may take one of the to-dos and put it in the month and have maybe a running tab of to-dos, and then I can kind of migrate that over into that particular day. So we'll see how that works out. But some other things, and again, just have notebook paper back here, which I haven't utilized as much. I think I took notes on a couple of pages here, but I need to, again, really formalize how I'm going to pull all the rest of the sections together. Now, a couple of things that I thought about that I really want to incorporate into my planner are going to be goals. So I think I want to have a section on goals and what I'm going to be planning for in the short term, long term. So I think I do want to incorporate a section with goals. I see my wife has some goal setting and goal planning inserts. I've been looking at some other inserts online, printables. So we'll see what I can incorporate there. I also want to be able to incorporate a section on my family as well, you know, activities that we plan to do, kind of keep it organized in one place as well. Because I was thinking about, you know, even a bucket list for my family, so we can stay active and be able to get out and do things. So thinking about having a place to kind of organize that, and also adding my spiritual aspects and some faith planning. And I'm thinking about putting it in this book, or maybe having a separate book. So I'm kind of figuring out how I want to do that. You know, when I do my personal studies, Bible studies, meeting preparations, you know, I like to have it organized in a place. Right now I have a couple of notebooks that I use that I take notes in when I'm doing my Bible reading and personal study, but maybe incorporating into this planner, or I was thinking of even setting up a separate planner for that. So this is what I have so far. You know, I don't know how long I've been talking. I thought I was only going to be able to fill 5 minutes of time, but I think I did a little bit more than 5 minutes. Hopefully I didn't bore you. You know, if there's any questions that you may have, or really not even just questions, but suggestions. You know, I'm really a blank slate when it comes to planning and figuring out how to set up my planner. I know we met a young lady this past weekend who actually has a consulting business on organizing your planner, buying inserts for your planner. And so, you know, I know that a lot of people need help. I'm one of them that may need some help. You know, my wife tries to help me, but you know, I see value in it, so I want to use it. And so I'm glad with the start that I have. You know, this again, this is a nice planner. You know, the Filofax Calypso. The feel of it again is very durable, and I'm going to plan to use it for some time to come. So that's what we have. You know, hopefully you enjoyed. You know, again, this is my first time coming on camera. Hopefully my hands, you know, didn't turn you off. But hopefully you enjoyed. You know, maybe you got a little bit out of it. I don't know how many other men, you know, may plan. Maybe they can get some inspiration from me. I don't know. I don't know if that's you know, how inspiring I can be. But again, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting my wife. Thank you for embracing me. Again, I got to meet so many people this past weekend, and I had a good time. Really had a good time hanging out. I feel like I was the only guy, but you know what? It was still fun. And I look forward to maybe doing another video or two in the near future. So hopefully you enjoyed. Remember to subscribe to my wife's channel if you're not already subscribed. Remember to like the video and check out her store as well, Little Miss Fancy Plans. So enjoy the rest of your day, and thanks for watching.